also heard you were a bank teller for a while. At what point in your career were you?
Oh my God!
How did you balance that? Because we need that job to help us make the money so we can do the dream. So like, where were you in your career where you had to balance the real life necessities and then still like following, your dreams?
I was about 18.
Yeah.
Working at this bank called Golden One in Sacramento. And that's the job I quit to move to LA. But it was great because there was some 401k that I already had saved up and like some savings that I could use for moving here. So it was perfect.
I talk to people about that a lot, where it's like you sometimes think when you're following your dreams, you got to just do everything cold turkey. But like, it's so like, have what you need to have, you know what I'm saying? Be an entrepreneur essentially and take whatever you can from these maybe more traditional spaces that allow you to put money into your goals.
Right. That's always been the case for me too, even with songwriting. I was using my songwriting money to fund my touring as an artist when I opened for Ariana, to fund music videos, to fund the Ready. I was independent at the time.
Wow.
So I had to pay that out of pocket, and it came from other sources of income. So we got to always balance it out.
Do you think having those highs and those lows, in the industry also helped paint a picture of what it's worth,
Absolutely.
so to speak, where you realize like, hey, well, I have ups and downs in my personal life. I have ups and downs in my career. When I'm looking at these ups and downs in my career, is it really worth that? Or is it really, do you feel like that impacted your ability to also kind of be able to like see what was really of value and what wasn't?
Totally. I think failure is like super important. And I think, when you get so much so early and you have just this career that, if I'm being totally honest, like everything that we did was just hitting, like from the time I was young all the way up into my mid-20s, like everything was just really working. And it just felt like, oh, I don't know why people think this is hard, like, and I don't mean that from like, I just mean that it really,
genuinely.
I didn't face any real challenges until my early to mid 20s, where things started, all of a sudden certain things wouldn't work. And it would be like, wait, what? This doesn't work all of a sudden? It's been working great. Like, what's going on? And, I think that's a real wake up call to like, you do need to work hard. Things don't come that easy.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, like really start thinking about what counts and what matters to you, because if all that stuff goes away, what's left? Like if this stuff doesn't work, like what do you have to show for it, and what else matters to you? And I think,
so
insightful. Yeah.
Was it a moment that happened in your career, or was it something that just happened in your mind where you started to kind of break out of that shell or that box that people were putting you in after the success of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Did you feel locked into a career path? And if you did, what was that moment that kind of propelled you to say, well, that's not it?
I don't think there's any one moment. I think it's like the way that you steer a huge cruise ship. It all doesn't move at once. I needed to do course correcting. So even as of this point, I may not be where I see myself in my mind and heart, but I am years further past where I was.
Right.
So my aim is to, at one point, to be able to maybe do some of the roles that I see, but I've gotten a chance to do more roles than most people. So I can never look at it as what's the moment that I fixed it, because I'm still in process.
Yeah.
I'm still in process. I'm still doing my thing. I'm still, each day when I wake up, I'm breaking myself out of the box, because there's always somebody else. There's always another network executive. There's always another director. There's always another person on the street who their perception of you is, ooh, you host a game show. I'm like, yes, I do. But I also do the 40 other things that maybe you haven't seen. So let me hit you with those things. So you can know. That's the job. That's my job, is to constantly reinvent myself. Mm-hmm. And as long as I'm happy with what I'm doing, then I'm happy with what I'm creating and presenting to you.
I think that's such an important mindset that you just displayed to anyone in any field, because it's always like that. There's always another thing or another step or someone that's meeting you here when you've been there. And in order for us to stay engaged, excited, inspired, and also to be able to quiet the noise around us and make sure that our validation is coming from inwards, we got to have that kind of mindset. That's the mindset of, to me, a winner, and somebody that you're staying curious and passionate about life.
Which, Keke, you got to have some healthy arrogance in order to make it in any business, especially in an unpredictable world like today.
First of all, I'm so excited to hear about all the different stories and experiences that you've had with all these people. That's going to be exciting because I know we're going to get some good tea to sip on. But I want to talk to you also about the differentiation, right? Because there's arrogance, there's confidence, and then you say healthy arrogance. What is the difference? What is someone that is arrogant come into a situation that is healthy, and then when does it become unhealthy?
Yeah. There's a phrase in the Bible that says faith without works is dead, right? You can
Okay.
have
I
faith,
love
but
that.
if you're not willing to put the work in, it means nothing. You can be confident. You can go to the point of arrogance. If you're not backing that up with the work ethic and with the product, right? You can't just be out here, and we live in a digital age where everybody can fabricate whatever they want in terms of their own personas. That's not enough for you to be healthy arrogant. That is the most unhealthy arrogance you can have, is for you to create some persona that's something that you're not and try to convince everybody that you're this thing, that you're better than everybody.
That is the biggest thing that I see happening so much today, where everybody just says they're the thing.
Yes.
And they've kind of latched onto the idea of manifestation and just, I got to say it and I'm going to become it. But they're not matching it with the work ethic or with the skill
Gotta
sets.
put the work in.
I got to start at level 1 before I get to level 10. Everybody
Absolutely.
wants to already be the boss before having been the server, the waiter,
You got it.
and I don't
and look
get
at
that.
and look at why. Because we live in an immediate gratification world, right? We live in a world where people think you can put up a TikTok video and have 1 billion followers and you on a yacht somewhere. That is what we think.
And the funny thing is that can happen, but that's not longevity. That's not going to continue.
And it's unhealthy for you to be chasing that, right? Whereas if you have a foundation of putting the work in, a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, you know what? I don't have the job that I want. I don't have the ultimate passion that I want, the passion project. I haven't found my thing that I want to do in life. So I'm not going hard. Why would I go hard in a job I don't like? Why would I go hard in a field that doesn't speak to me? The reason you go hard, number one, is because you're building your work ethic, right?
That's right.
It's like saying that you want to win in the Olympics and all of a sudden you're just going to start sprinting, when it's time for the Olympic trials. No, baby, you got to start putting in a foundation of work for years and years and years. The same thing is true with being successful. You got to work your success muscle. You got to learn to put in a foundation of hard work in order for you to find that passion so that when you do, you're ready to go and put that work in. Your name is on it. I don't care if you deliver newspapers, working at the grocery store, sacking oranges, it doesn't matter. Your name is on that. That is you. You're representing Keke Palmer. You're representing Will Packer. So once your name is on it, you got to have some pride in it.
I love what you're saying about you do good because it's your name on it. I think a lot of times on our journey to success, or when people look at people that they think are successful, they don't think about the journey that's gotten them there.